I'm chairman of TechHub, the co-working and community space here in Latvia. And we've been working a lot with the Israeli embassy on a number of events, and we're very pleased to be involved here. And actually, before I introduce the speakers here today, I'd like to ask the ambassador who's here to maybe say a few words.
Thank you. I just want to say welcome. We are so proud of this project of Tel Aviv Beach, but particularly in this seminar. And we really like to cooperate with TechHub. We get so much support and from your spirit, and I hope you share the same with us. So I would like to say good luck to us, and I'm sure you will enjoy the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first speaker, Moshe Sarfaty from Krypton Venture Capital, who has come all the way from Israel and is quite experienced in both as an entrepreneur himself and also as an investor, has a very interesting investment model, and has come to talk a little bit about that, and especially about business to consumer. So Moshe, over to you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. But before I introduce myself, I want just to get to know you a bit better, and I need your help for a few moments. And I'm gonna start with a question. How many of you have their own startups? Please raise your hands. 1, 2, okay. How many of you know someone who has a startup? Raise their hands. Okay. In Israel, usually when I ask group of 100 people, I see 300 hands in the air, and if you multiply 100 by 2, I don't know how I get 300, but that's what actually happens. And I think this is the real secret behind Israeli startup ecosystem, and I'll get into that in a minute. But let me start real quick, introduce myself. My name is Moshe Sarfaty. I'm the co-founder of Krypton Venture Capital. We developed a really interesting investment model in B2C startups, and I'm gonna try to touch it maybe a bit later. I was a president of a financial group, foreign exchange trading group. I was the owner of Green Water Logs, which was a startup center Belize. And in the beginning, I was a Yale University graduate and investment banker. But we are not to speak about myself. Before I start with fun stuff, I'm gonna start with the serious stuff. Do you know what's the meaning of Krypton? Can anyone know what's the meaning of the word Krypton, the name of my fund? No one? It's a planet, yeah? Where from? How do you know that? From Superman, nice. So first of all, get yourself a Krypton. Ready? Up. Here you go. So yeah, you're right. Krypton, it's from the movie Superman. And I really like Superman. And the main reason that we decided to call our VC Krypton is, as I said, I'm a Yale University graduate, and the first lesson in Business 101 was, no matter what and no matter where you go, try to make sure that someone remembers you, okay? So now I'm sure that each one of you gonna remember the name of my fund just because the movie Superman, okay? So here's lesson number 1 for today. Whoever has his own startup, just make sure that someone remembers you. Okay, so yeah, I'm Yale University graduate, investment banker. All of you sit here and sure that I might be smarter than some of you. Let me use a word that don't say that. I told you, bullshit, okay? I don't know anything better than anyone here in the room. I think all of you together know and smart and can be investment bankers, and can be investment managers, and I'm gonna prove it to you in a minute, okay? Let's start. I'm gonna show you a few landing pages. Landing pages, basically, it's ads that you see over the web with a lot of companies that presenting themselves. And I want each one of you just to pick one that you really likes, okay? I'm gonna show you 3 slides. I want each one of you to pick one that you really likes. That's the first one. That's the second one. And that's the third one, okay? Did you all pick one? Hopefully. Who picked this one? Please raise his hand. Okay. Who picked this one? Raise his hand. And who picked the last one? Please raise his hand. Correct, okay. So the middle one was the one that most of you raised their hands. And I would say it was pretty even between the first and the second. And all of you are right, because these two landing pages that I just showed you in the beginning were the one that showed the best results. The last one, as you saw, whoever raised his hand, you're not gonna be a good marketing manager. Don't take it personally. Okay, so as I said, we call it mass intelligence. And basically, the meaning of it is that all of us as a group have a knowledge. And all together, whether if we'll take a communal decision, probably we're gonna get to the right answer altogether. But let's start with the game plan for today. I'm gonna speak about the startup ecosystem real quick. I'm gonna explain you what's the meaning of startups, where we actually find them along the ladder of companies and all of that. We're gonna speak about the Israeli startup ecosystem for a few moments. Then I'm gonna tell you a real secret behind the VC world. And if we'll have time, we'll get to know, we're gonna play a short game with a volunteer here from the crowd, okay? So let's start. This is John, he's an investment banker. I call them the suits world. I'm coming from this world. But basically, you can find John in each one of these companies, okay? All of these are kind of investment structures and investment companies that invest in startups, okay? So we have angel investors, corporate VCs, fund of fund, all the way down to venture capital VCs and limited partnership and all of that. Believe me, I'm not gonna spend your time describing about each one of you. If you want to know, get to me afterwards, I'm gonna explain you a bit more, okay? About some company terminology, there is company, related company, spin-off company, and a startup. We're gonna focus today here about startups in a moment. And if we look on a company and the way it developed, it starts as a seed, go all the way to a revenue growth, and then if it doesn't go well, obviously suspended operation, closing down, okay? And when I look on a company, basically there are two revenue models. And these are the ones whoever has his own company needs to decide. There is a B2B, which called business to business, and there is a B2C, which called business to consumer. Whoever has his own startup, who is in the B2C universe, raise his hand. 1, 2, B2C 3, okay? Who is in the B2B? Good for you. And I'll explain to you in a moment why. Okay, before that, let's speak about Israel. And please, I'm gonna show you 3 slides now with a lot of information, a lot of data. I really want you to be really strong and stay with me throughout these 3 slides, okay? Stay strong. Okay, Israel. Israel has more than 5,000 active startup companies at the moment, okay? More than 2,000 new pre-seeds join the market annually. You know what it means? That I have a lot of work back in Israel, and whoever asks what I'm doing, and I tell him that I'm a VC, that's it. It's the end of my day. He showed me the startup of his own, his family, his aunt, his mom, or whatever. Average of around 600 new startups a year actually join the market. Just a few more numbers about 2013. There were $2.3 billion was raised in Israel through 662 deals. 3 out of 5 of them were 1.7 billion, which was 75%, which means a lot of money was flowing in the Israeli market, in the startup arena. And if you have a startup and you want to raise money, Israel might be a really good place for you. But this is another complex table that I'm gonna show you a bit. Basically, this is the breakdown about the industries of startups and where they're raised. You can see the main point that I want to show you here, that there is a decline in the internet deals, which is the purple one, throughout the time, and I'll explain in a moment why, okay? Another important slide is about the division of fundraising, and you can see that all of these small numbers here, the really, really small ones, are the pre-seeds, which means are the first round fundraising, okay? You know, now let's try to connect all this data that I just showed you. It means a lot of pre-seeds, around 6,000 companies joined the market. There's a lot of money flowing in, but almost none of them actually gets this money. And most of the company that get their money is not from the B2C, but from the B2B. And I'll explain in a moment why. The main reason for that is that the world that we were used to since 2000 has completely changed. There were days that basically that many startups used to sell dreams to investors. They used to tell them, I have an amazing idea, I'm gonna have 5 million users, and I'm gonna make money, I don't know how, but trust me, I have an amazing dream, I know that I'm gonna make money for you. Basically, the world has changed a bit since then. So whenever you go, and if you have their own startup, please don't tell an investor, I have a dream, I'm gonna have many users, I'm gonna make money. Try to find out how you're gonna make money exactly, and just focus on that, okay? And I'm gonna explain a bit more. Okay, now, I said before that whoever has his own B2C startup has a bit difficulty, but can you tell me what's the main focus of these 4 companies, Twitter, Gap, Facebook, PokerStars, what basically makes them as a group? John, please? No? Basically, all these companies, they are B2C, okay? All of them target crowd of thousands of people, okay? On the other end, we can see that eBay has also a part that is working and marketing himself for other businesses. He basically market himself to other stores, tell them, bring your store on board, and you're gonna make money on my platform, okay? So basically, there is a differentiation between B2B, which basically you sell your product to another business, then a B2C, like PokerStars and Facebook, basically where you sell your product to masses, to thousands of people. Okay, nice. The definition for B2C is business or transaction conducted directly between a company and a consumer who are the end user of its product or services, okay, as said. This is definition from the internet, from Oxford Dictionary, okay? You know what's the definition of B2C in the investment world? You know that? I'll tell you. Our definition for B2C startups is no money for you, I have no money for you to take, or I'm busy now, can I ignore you some other time, okay? Which means go away, okay? No VCs are actually gonna tell you that they're not gonna invest money in you because you have a B2C startup. You're gonna play the game with them. They're gonna sit with you, they're gonna bring you coffee, you're gonna go to lunch, you're gonna waste a lot of time. But eventually, throughout the end of the process, just about when you think that you're gonna sign a contract, as long as you don't have millions of users, you're not gonna get investment, okay? And this is the real secret behind the VC world. We don't tell it to startups, and I felt that I really don't want to spend time of many companies, and that's why I realized to tell you these secrets. The main reasons why VCs don't invest in B2C startups, one is that there's no real legit evaluation model. We all went to school, we all went to universities together, and we all learned that you can predict success, right? There are places where, there are equations where you can put some numbers in and try to predict what's gonna be the success. So in B2C, there are no actual formulas for that. If you know one, please let me know. I really want to find one, which means that's high risk. The second is, as an investor, if I give to a B2C startup, I give him money. Let's say I give him $1 million check. I'm writing him a check, and I'll tell him, good luck, John. Let's see what you're gonna do with your money. Usually what happens is that they get their check, they start developing their product. They changing the colors of the website, they move the button from here to there, they do whatever they do with that. They improve their server's power or whatever they do with that. And then they realize that they need to bring users on board, okay? They need someone to actually use their website, to use their product. And as said before, it's not like B2B that you need to bring one deal, one really nice contract with a customer. They need to bring hundreds of thousands of users every day. And the task is pretty hard and it takes a lot of time. Most of the companies in B2C spend the money throughout the time and just finish their money. They wasted 2 years, they wasted a lot of money, they realized that the task of bringing many users, it's not as easy as they thought when they brought 100 users to the store. They realized that it's a bit hard task. And as I said, let's say that they even managed to bring all those users and all these customers to their company. It's going to take them a lot of time. It's going to take them between a year or two. And all of us know that 2 years in the internet, you can't really know what's going to happen in the internet tomorrow morning. So to wait 2 years, no chance. And these are the main 3 reasons why VCs don't really get into this universe and prefer not to invest. Okay, so now you probably ask yourself, what Moshe tried to tell us? Not to open a startup, not to be a B2C. What am I gonna do with this guy? So I'm telling you, no. Go open a startup, of course, but try to be smart. And I'm gonna give you a few tricks in a moment how to do it. Okay? Here we go. No, I'm not telling you not to open a B2C startup. Okay, all of you know these 3 companies, right? McDonald's, we all know the supermarket in the street, and we all know regular startups. How many of you saw a branch of McDonald's going under, fail, closing down? No one, right? Yes, it worked. In Israel, it's actually the same. How many of you saw a supermarket closing down? 1, 2, yeah, we saw. How many of you saw startups failing? All of you, yeah, raise your hand. Yeah, all of us saw startups going down. What does it mean, okay? What does it mean? It means not that you need to open a McDonald's, okay? Obviously, it's a smart decision, but all of us don't want to work in McDonald's all day long, and I really love McDonald's, okay? So I hope not to get sued for that. It means that whenever we go and open a startup, we need to be a bit smarter, okay? We need to learn a bit, and we need to try to focus and to direct our startup, direct our model to be a bit similar to the supermarket and to the McDonald's, and not a startup by its extreme. And for that, I need a brave volunteer. I need someone that is really brave here in the crowd, that has a startup, someone brave. Who is brave? I see you have a startup and you're brave. Come on. Right. What's your name? Elders? Great. What's your startup? Ah, nice pick. I didn't know that. Okay. So now I'm going to give you a task. Okay? I'm going to give you 1 minute. Okay? Here, you are the brave volunteer. Okay? Sit down here. Okay. Now I'm going to give you a moment. Okay? Let's speak. I'm going to give you an example of a company from my portfolio. Okay? I'm going to show you there is a company, okay, that called Lumosity. I don't know if you heard about it. Have you heard about it? Yeah? You did? Great. It's going to make your task a bit easier. Basically, Lumosity is an example of a company that trades $70 million, which is nice, and they have 35 million users. 35 million users, it's a really good example of a B2C startup. Now, let's say that you're going to open, what's your idea? What's your startup going to be now after you saw Lumosity? You said that you want to open the same thing, right? Yeah, great decision. So now I'm going to give you a moment, okay? I'm going to give you 1 minute where you're going to open Google. You can use whatever you want. You can use your phone. You can use friends. You can use anything you want. I'm going to give you 1 moment, and in this 1 minute, okay, you need to tell me how's your company going to look like in a few years from now? How's your web design going to look? What's your landing page design? What's going to be your marketing strategy? And you need to tell me about a bit the marketing strategy of your company, okay? All of that in 1 minute. You can do it? Yeah? Okay, so open Google. Let's go out here. It's open there. Okay. You have 1 moment. You ready? Please, clap your hands for him. I think he's really brave. Come on, guys. Come on. Okay, 1 moment. Ready? 1, 2, go. Good. Now we save you some time. Now, I'm going to give you 10 more seconds. Here, you just earned 10 seconds. We also amazing ad. Perfect. Okay. Okay, you're looking on Lumosity website. Amazing. You have 30 more seconds. Under pressure, huh? A lot of pressure with all these people around looking at you. Okay, no pressure, but you have 20 more seconds to go. Here you go. 5 more seconds. Okay, time. Now let's go back to the presentation. Stay with me. Let's just go back. And I want you to tell me a bit about your decisions. Let's put it up. Okay. Okay, so this is not working. You're going back. Okay, now we're good to go. What's gonna be the company size in a year from now?
A year.
Let's say 2 years.
2 years.
Yes, 2 years.
I would start with that I would not go for copying Lumosity. If I would, then probably it will have, well, like around 1 million users.
No, I said, what's gonna be the company size? How many employees you gonna have?
Could be like 5 people.
5 people. Okay, your first guess is 5 people you're gonna have in a year from now. What's gonna be your web design?
It should be a website like offering you to start training your brain with a big button. Like.
Okay, you guessed it, right? Yeah, okay. Landing page design, you also gonna guess? Yeah, yeah. Marketing strategy, you also gonna guess?
It should be like free to start, and then you can subscribe.
But you guessed it, right? Yeah, you assumed based on your experience, right? And marketing cost, how much gonna cost you to bring a user, to bring someone to your company, you know?
I think it could cost like up to several months subscription cost.
Give me a number. How much is gonna cost you?
So free user could be $1 and paid user like $10.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Clap your hands, please, for him. Now stay with me and let's see the real answers. Now, basically, that's what happens to me every day. I'm doing it between 5 to 6 times a day with many startups coming to my office. They have amazing product, but then I'm start booming them with these questions, and it happens to all of you, or it's gonna happen to you in the future when you're gonna go to one of the VCs. And I'm amazed to know that nobody really knows the market, really don't know their competitors. So now I'm gonna show you a few tricks, okay? That's my take-homes for you that I really want each one of you to take home. And it doesn't really matter if you have your own startup or not. Just try to use Google and try to use the open sources. And let's see now about Lumosity, okay? We all gonna open our own amazing company. From LinkedIn, I realized that Lumosity has 152 employees, so not 5, okay? That's the first answer. 5 or 152, a big difference. Second, my website, how's my website gonna look like? You started with that, you opened Lumosity, you opened one of your competitors. So my website is gonna look basically pretty similar to what's going on there in the market. I'm not telling you to copy, but I'm trying to tell you to open your eyes and try to learn from competitors what's going on and what's working, okay? About the landing page design, I'm gonna do landing page in Google, and I try to see what's the landing page of my competitors. And it's pretty easy. Took me, believe me, another 10 seconds, and I found out that. And then I'm gonna tell you about a new Israeli startup called SimilarWeb. This is an amazing website. Basically, you can learn a lot on how your competitors basically market themselves. You can see that they direct the buying media. Here, about 55% of the media, and then they're going down all the way about search, Google, and all of that. Another tool that each one of you should use is SimilarWeb. It doesn't really matter if you have a startup or even a simple company. You can try to use it and try to learn what's their marketing strategy. And then let's go to the most important part, okay? You see, I did not guess. It took me only 1 minute, and then I went to another place. I went to forums, internet forums, and I Googled basically Lumosity, and basically I wrote a term which called CPA. It's cost per acquisition, okay? A lot of companies has affiliation programs which they basically pay amount of money for traffic, for users that you send to him, okay? So the cost per acquisitions of Lumosity is $1.5, right? Not far from what you guessed, but here this is a much, much more educated guess than what you used, okay? That's the second step. And then I'm gonna do another Google, fast Google, and the first result when I Googled the name Lumosity, I realized that in 2012, they earned $24 million, that was their revenue, and I also learned that they had 35 million members in the end of 2012. Then I read it a bit more, and I realized that the average amount that they pay for, that each user paying is around $80, okay? All of that is public, okay? But now I'm trying to mix between the data that I just showed you and try to realize what it means, okay? I did another Google, and I wanted to know how many users Lumosity had in the end of 2012. In the end of 2012, basically they had 20 million users, okay? It means that in 2013, here you go, in 2013, they brought 50 million users, okay? That's one. Then I realized that 24 million revenue, and the average $80 per player, per actually paying users, is $80, which means that they have around 300 paying players a year. And then I start playing with the numbers, and you can see that we realized that around $22 million, that's what cost them to bring all these users. Basically, their model is they're going really, really up to bring a lot of users to go out to the market. But I really don't care. I don't want to teach you about Lumosity. I'm here about to teach you how to use a lot of information out there and how in one moment, okay, only 1 minute, we basically try to evaluate if we want to get into a market and if we can get there or not. We did not guess. We did educated guess. It took us only 1 moment, okay? And each one of you, whenever you pick your startup, try to do as educated guess as possible. Okay, and here, I want to show you a company. In my portfolio, actually, there is a company that's doing the same thing as Lumosity. Its name is Mindry, Mindry.com. This is Israeli startup. A doctor developed this product for 13 years. It was way, way before Lumosity. He did a lot of research in the US, in Harvard, in Stanford, whatever you want. He spent a lot of money, his own family money, and he didn't do well. Lumosity came into the market real quick and passed him behind. This guy, Shemer, you can see, real cute Israeli doctor, didn't do well, and he came to my office. And then I said, okay, please give me 1 moment. And I did this quick research as I just showed you. And this is basically the spin-off of Mindry. This is how they started. And this is my portfolio. This is a company in my portfolio. And this company already started making money and started bringing users. Only yesterday brought 1,000 new users per day, okay? And not for many changes. I just realized and learned from the market what to do, and this is what you should do, okay? So what's my take-homes for you from the presentation today? Is one, don't be afraid to use icebreakers. Don't be afraid to use my Superman example. Take it to your own personal ventures. Get to know your friend. Get to know your startup ecosystem. Get to know what kind of VCs active in your market and maybe active in different countries around you. Okay? Don't be afraid to reach out to Israeli startup, to Israeli VCs, because we invest a lot in international companies. 3, dream days are over, okay? Try to know and learn how you're gonna make your dime from the first moment your company up in the air. Don't try to sell dreams to anyone. 4, try to evaluate if whatever you do is closer to McDonald's or closer to a startup. Try to take it in the middle. Please don't be a startup without any research going into the wall. I see many startups, many companies doing it every day. Just try to move your model a bit toward the McDonald's, and you'll see that such a small change can make a lot of difference when you go to investors. 5, know your enemy. Just this example, I want each one of you to sit down and waste 1 minute before he's wasting 2 years out of his life. And 5 and 6, basically, don't waste your time. Whenever you have a product, take it, throw it out to the real world, and try to know if it's doing well or not. So I want to thank you all for listening to me. I'm going to be here for the rest of the day, so you can come by, you can ask me as many questions as possible. And don't forget to see Superman the next day. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Moshe. So the next presenter, I'd like to invite Eldar back up here. He's going to do double duty today, and to share a little bit about his experiences from Israel. Eldar's won a competition that actually was hosted at TechHub to participate in a startup event in Israel. And so we want to hear from him, I think about a year on now, right? Sort of his reflections of that. Do we need a minute to set up? Less than a minute. You don't get in a minute anymore.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Eldar Sloginovs. I'm one of the founders of Faster Books, a startup which offers you a library experience for your mobile devices. So if you want to read a book, we are welcome to use Faster Books. Today is around 1 year after Start Tel Aviv contest, which take place July 2013. Which actually we have been lucky to win. And after the contest, we had a trip to Tel Aviv. So basically that's why I'm here. And in this short presentation, I want to focus on 3 things. The trip to Tel Aviv, which happened like a year ago. What have we done in this year? Because we moved from the idea to a real product. And some things that we learned in this year period, and which actually the learnings which Tel Aviv has helped us to do. So, about Start Tel Aviv and about the contest and the trip. We had, first of all, just for all of you to know, there's a direct flight with Air Baltic, so it's very easy to get from here to Tel Aviv and back. You are welcome to try. We got a King's welcome like very good organization of the whole event. That's the place where we were living, an apartment with Tel Aviv. And we got a lot of pitch events. We got international press covering the event. Just for a little recap, it was the first time Latvia participated in Start Tel Aviv, and overall we were 16 people from countries as different as like Brazil and China and India, and a couple of guys from Europe as well. So the geography of the event was really broad, whole world. So here how it looks in Tel Aviv. There are a lot of events on the beach like this one. We visited top tech companies in Tel Aviv like Google, PayPal, eBay. They all have offices actually located in the same skyscraper, somewhere around 38th floor. There was a DLD event. So Tel Aviv is famous for organizing huge international events with people coming from US, Europe, all over the world. DLD is the biggest probably. So we don't have such events in Latvia yet, but probably we will learn and try to do our own huge events. So here they are. For example, this presentation is from president of MasterCard. You know MasterCard, the banking card to pay for anything. And in this part of the event, in this presentation, there was a president of MasterCard. Yeah, here how it looks. A lot of events on the beach. We were taken to Jerusalem to see. The all holy places, like Church of the Holy Sepulchre, Wailing Wall, of course. Yeah, here how the Tel Aviv looks. Here's the hummus. Everybody is encouraged to try hummus because it's believed to be a secret weapon of Israelis. Like that's what makes Israelis strong. Actually, yeah, I liked it. It's tasty. Okay, yeah, you can try it here as well. So yeah, and again, a lot of big coastline, and I think that this coastline is kind of similar to what we have here, probably in Jurmala, but it experiences the startup life as well, because in Israel they not only do the hard work, but they also do a lot of partying. So the startup is not only about like working in the office. There's a lot of communication happening, a lot of networking, a lot of having fun, etc. So what have we done with Faster Books after this Start Tel Aviv contest? Because 1 year ago, we won this contest with a promise to provide books that you can read from your mobile device without paying for each title. Read them as in a library. Let's say you pay just a monthly fee, and then you can read anything you want, like, I don't know, buffet breakfast in a hotel, or you buy a ticket for public transport and have as many rides as you like, or you buy a subscription for magazines. So the subscription model is active in many areas, not yet in books. But actually, just last week, Amazon started offering the same thing for US. So what we have done, first of all, in July, like last month, we finally started offering the real working product with thousands of titles. It's available for iPhone, iPad, Android. You can install the app and try it out. Second, we got more users and more paying users as well. The growth is pretty strong. We are moving to new markets. We are moving outside of Latvia as well. And we are doing very well in Latvia. Because in this year, we succeeded in persuasion of all publishers in Latvia to work with us, to give the ebooks based on the model that we provide, the subscription model. And of course, more users and a business model in place, we have more revenue now. So we don't wait to have 1 million or 100 million free users. We already now have paying users, and that makes us, let's say, able to earn now, finance our wages now without like hoping for some VC to come in and pay for it. Yeah, and with all that, we have an investment raised, seed investment secured also in this year. So now about the learnings. This is the most interesting part, I think. Like what we learned from the trip to Tel Aviv, that we are grateful to be chosen for by the embassy, by TechHub. So first of all, I think that industry knowledge is what matters a lot. Israel shows it with their startups, with a really, they are focused in several industries where Israel is very strong. It's defense, security, telecommunications. Unfortunately for Latvia, we don't have a single industry which is like the single and only for Latvia, which would make all our startups to specialize in something. We still have to find it, to define it. Probably it's hardware. With the recent launch of AirDock, probably we are strong in hardware. Probably it will be some B2B startup, something which grows really big. We still have to define it. So what makes Israel strong is their focus on maybe one or two industries, not going like all the directions. And for us, what we learned that if we are in books, if we are in publishing industry, we should know how it works. Here in Latvia, in Europe and US, we should know the players, we should know publishers, authors, all the parties involved. It's not just us and the reader. A lot of parties are involved in each industry. So, second thing, which I believe also makes Israeli startups very successful, is the whole cultural thing. What I learned about Israel, that achievement is valued much higher than the status. So, just like to give an example, there are two types of societies: status-oriented and achievement-oriented. US and Israel are highly achievement-oriented. So no matter where you come from, if you have an achievement to show, everybody will respect you. There are societies who are very status-oriented, like, I don't know, don't want to get into politics, but maybe Russia. If you work in Gazprom or if you know some politician, then everybody respects you. So Israel is a lot about achievement. Startups are also a lot about achievement. Startup is all about like starting from nowhere, starting from zero and growing huge. And if we would be all status oriented, probably then there will be no startups at all. Corporations will rule and they will leave the heritage, etc. It will always like stay as it is. So when the country is achievement-oriented and the startups are achievement-oriented, then everything moves forward very fast. South Korea is a great example. So when your startup and your countries have like the same values, it's very good. And also, when you decide to which market to go, probably for a startup, it's better to go to achievement-oriented market like US. Try to avoid formalities. Everything which is formal, like doing too much paperwork with taxes or focusing too much on formal stuff, slows you down. Very informal attitude lets you to move forward, forward quickly. So informal attitude inside the team, informal attitude in many aspects really helps your startup. When we are like too formal, also nationwide, I think it's not that good. So, about focusing on the right markets. I believe that going into like too many directions, like saying like we are global, for example, that's complicated because you cannot go to Asia and Eastern Europe and US and Australia all the same time. Maybe you can if you are Google or Apple. So for every startup, you have to decide what is your primary market. And it's better when you have, like, let's say, your culture and the culture that you understand is similar to the market where you are going. Like if you understand US, then probably you should go to US. It will be easier to work on that market. Of course, staying locally in Latvia is not a solution for a startup, but what's my point? Like many Israeli startups concentrate on US market primarily, and that also makes them successful. They have a focus, they have created a good reputation between the VCs in US, and that makes all the industry to move forward. Yeah, and the last one, talent is the one and only resource. I strongly believe that for a startup, it's all about the team. It's all about the people. In the beginning, in the middle of the process, in the end, it's always the team, it's always the people. If the team is talented, you will get the investment, you will get the money, you will move forward. So in very small scale, talent matters. In a larger scale, in the nationwide scale, again, talent matters. So understanding of this for any startup can help. Understanding this nationwide, I think, can help as well. So it's people, it's not the oil, it's not the money, it's only people. And like what we do to let's say to promote the importance of people. I believe that working environment, creating the best working environment for employees is one of the aspects to gather talent to your startup. In Google, they do it like making an office your second home. We went to Google offices in Tel Aviv, and they have everything there, all that you can imagine. Like an employee can stay in the office 24/7. He can live in the office. You got like orange trees, and these oranges grow just there on the tree. So, inspired by this, we bought some trees, some palms in our office here in Riga, and the photo was made today actually, just a coincidence. I brought it to TechHub, and we have now some palms there. Here's how it looks. That's another plant. And what is great that TechHub, for example, shares these beliefs that the working environment matters. Finding the best talent is a core challenge for the startup. So we are happy to have that environment with TechHub. Yeah, that's basically it. Faster books, limitless book discovery. You are all welcome to try our app. Thank you.
Thank you, Eldar. Thanks very much. So we're going to take a short 10-minute break. There are some refreshments here, and then we'll start again with a panel discussion talking about the Latvian startup ecosystem and the Israeli ecosystem, what we can learn, especially from the Israelis that have a lot more maturity here. So after about 10 minutes, we'll restart. Thank you.